You can use the way that these engines present the answers as a hint to how they would want your site to be set up. They almost always include bullets, include also tables, like synthesize things really well. That can be a good guide if you're unsure of how to present your data on your website.
Hello, and welcome to Think Fresh, a podcast brought to you by Novo Marketing's Collective Creative, coming to you from our Ideas Institute and here to talk about all things marketing, insights on new trends, innovative ideas, and marketing tools you can use in your day-to-day life, and whatever else we deem relevant. I'm Jen Newman, Novo CEO, and your host.
And I'm Ryan Schoenfeld, Head of Digital, Account Manager, and your other host. Today, we're going to talk about the FAQs of SEO, GEO, and AEO. That's a lot of letters. We'll get into it, though. We'll get into it, friends. We have to start by welcoming Allie. Allie Machala is our digital strategy lead, and you're a frequent contributor to Think Fresh. I think this is your 4th appearance.
I think that's right.
Wow. Well, first...
We don't have a jacket.
I just love to hear myself talk.
First appearance.
Yes.
That's true. At number 5, you do not get a jacket like on SNL. So I'm sorry to say that.
So Allie, thank you for joining us, sharing our digital knowledge. Like we said in the opening, we're talking about SEO, GEO, and AEO. Lots of acronyms. But before we even start talking about that, because this is a sports podcast.
It's not a sports podcast.
Because this is a sports podcast, we have to talk about some changes and some fun excitement in the WNBA. The first, we got free agency, so players are moving around like crazy. I didn't realize it was that dramatic. And you both have been following sports for much longer than me. But like, teams just change. Like, whole teams are just now completely different. Like, you've got about 3 core players that don't change on the team, but then everyone else just changes.
This is brand new information for you, apparently.
No, truly, it is. Like, this is all very weird and different. And I'm like, wait, how do people even get jerseys with players' names on them? Because the next season, it's going to be completely different.
I don't know what to say to that, Ryan. I just can't believe you didn't know this.
This is my 3rd WNBA season. I am a Caitlin Clark bandwagoner, and I will say I've quickly fallen in love with the whole league. And this is now the 3rd team that one of my favorites, Erica Wheeler, is now on. Mm-hmm. So it's 3 teams in 3 seasons. It's like, what's going on? I don't get it.
I mean, that's just the way it's a business, right? That's just the way it goes, but...
At least they're getting paid better.
At least they're getting paid.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's still
so
not
much
the
better.
Same as the NBA. It's not even close. Let's just get that out. But
it's light years ahead of where we were even a year ago. So progress.
Yes. But let's talk about what we came here for. All of our acronyms, our acronym soup, the excitement of SEO, GEO, and AEO. Let's just cover the bases and talk about our 3 acronyms. Go. There's a lot. There's a lot.
That's just the 3 in this one podcast we're covering.
True.
I live in nothing but 3-letter acronyms.
Oh my gosh, you're right. CPC, PPC, like it's...
CTR.
It's all acronyms.
It's all acronyms.
Oh.
CVR. I mean, I could go on, but I won't.
Well, just these 3.
Let's
start with these 3.
All right, we'll start with SEO.
I do dare you to just have a whole conversation in acronyms sometimes and just see what happens downstairs in the office.
When Allie and Kim are talking, it's just like, wait, what?
Is that a foreign language?
What's happening? Yes.
Digital. I have to tell myself not to do that in client meetings.
Yeah.
Like, say the words. Let's start with SEO. This one's a lot more familiar to a lot of people. So, search engine optimization. This is essentially all about ranking on search engine results page. Google, Bing, it's been around since the internet
for decades.
And so that's really, it's all about ranking for specific keywords related to either your business or service or a topic that you're writing about. Really, it's about being listed as an option to users searching. AEO, which is answer engine optimization, is more about being a single definitive answer to a specific question. And this has actually been around for a little longer than I think a lot of people know. This was really the rise of voice assistants like Siri and Alexa, and even Google's featured snippets. So those are all technically AEO. And that's been around for years, right?
What's the featured snippet? Is that like when you Google, it'll like give you a little bit of a response that's not necessarily AI? Now it is, but like.
Correct.
Okay.
So they would just pull out like a sentence or two, right, that answered your question, but it was directly from a source. They weren't crafting that. It was just pulled out.
Okay.
And so that's really what AEO was. It's essentially that platform or that logic picking what they considered the best answer and then just serving it to you rather than you having to go look. So generative engine optimization is more like the evolution of answer engine optimization. Instead of being handed a snippet from a specific place, these generative engines are pulling from multiple different sources to be able to synthesize that information and present it to users in a longer form comprehensive answer. And so the goal of GEO is to be one of the sources being cited by that.
So instead of like being the best one, now it's just like, hey, we want to be in the conversation, in the soup, if you will.
Yeah.
Nice. I had a bunch of questions that came up, but now we're going to dig into each of these kind of individually. So we've all been hearing about SEO for quite a long time, right? Like we mentioned that one's been around since the creation of the internet with Alta Vista and Google search, all of these forerunners in the space. What is SEO?
So when you think of SEO, I always like to think of it as a pyramid. And so at the bottom of the pyramid is the base, which is your technical SEO. This is your site being structurally sound and set up correctly to be able to be found by search engines, to be able to show up correctly, to be considered safe for people to view. And if you don't have that base, you can't have anything.
Like I've gone to websites on Google and it's like, this website is not safe. And usually it's like their SSL certificate has lapsed or something.
So if they got HTTP and not HTTPS, you're going to have some problems.
Some technical issues. The base of your pyramid is a little wonky.
Correct.
Okay.
And then in the middle, we have on-page SEO. So that is really looking at the content you're writing, making sure you're including those keywords, answering questions that people are searching for, making it easily digestible, including bullet points, short form paragraphs, headings in the correct hierarchy.
That'll get people.
Yeah.
That'll get them.
And so that's everything that people can see on your site. And then at the very top of the pyramid is off-site SEO. And so that is backlinking, that is business listings, social media, essentially anywhere where you are either sending people back to your website or just building your brand outside of your website on the internet.
SEO in a nutshell. Yeah. And this, while we mention SEO in our title, this really is about the evolution of SEO, which is getting towards that GEO and the AEO. So we've got SEO covered. Now, like, what about GEO? I think of when I think of geo, I think of geography. So initially, I thought this was all tied to like location, but is it?
No,
not at all. Perfect.
No, sorry.
No.
Just like this is not a sports podcast.
Fine.
This is not a sports podcast, and we're not talking about geography, which is probably a plus for you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. If it was geography, I would just be like, well, that's maps, right?
Side note for our listeners, he is horrible at geography. Like, he does not know where Marion is from here.
That way?
Nope.
No. Well, we can hop into GEO.
Yeah.
So what is it, right? Similar to SEO, it's a series of tactics for showing up in a specific place. But in this instance, it is the generative answers from different AI platforms. So that can be the LLMs that people are using. ChatGPT is the most popular at this point. We've got Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, which is technically an AI-powered search engine, but works more like the LLM in the way that it synthesizes answers. And then the AI overviews on Google are also considered a part of the generative engine optimization umbrella.
Which those are getting better, I will say.
Yes.
Like initially those were pretty bad and they are getting better. AI is advancing very quickly. We all know that, but like even the AI overviews are improving, which is good to see.
Yeah. One of the key differences in SEO and GEO is what the goal is, right? So SEO, your goal is to rank on a search engine results page. For GEO, there's kind of two goals, citations and mentions. So mentions are a little bit harder to get. That is when in the answer, your brand or your website is mentioned specifically within the answer. So this will happen if you are like the definitive source of a stat that they're mentioning, and or if it's a search, if someone's looking for the best roofing company in Cedar Rapids.
Okay.
And then they're probably going to have a list. And so then if you're on that list, that's a mention. Okay. Citations are more common, and that is where they are using your information in their answer and then have a link to your site wherever it is that they store their links. On Gemini, it's easy to see. They have like the little link
subscript. Yeah.
And so on some platforms, it's easier to find those than others, but that is where the citation comes in, and gives people the opportunity to get to your page or get to your website from the generative answer.
And those citations are important because while the AI overviews are improving, sometimes you still need to do a little research. Like if it is a important decision, or if it is, I mean, really just if it sounds too good to be true, click those citations and go check it out, because sometimes they're still wrong or outdated. So Allie, when you mentioned the citations and the mentions, how do you know? How do you know if you are getting a citation or a mention on these platforms?
It's hard to know. There are more and more tools that are coming out that they consider these AI visibility tools. So they can kind of tell you if you're showing up for specific queries. But the thing with AI is that it's never the same. The answer is never going to be the same. And so when you're thinking about measuring that, it's more about probability. Okay. Are you more likely to show up for this query than not? And a lot of times it's manual.
Oh.
So you can use these tools to get an idea of what you're showing up for, but if there's specific topics or questions that you want to be showing up for, the best way to know is to actually compile a set of questions or like kind of subqueries that would be encompassed in that topic or question, and then manually check it over time to see what the answers are and see if you're trending more often than not as being one of the citations or mentions.
Sounds like some of the old school strategies of long tail keywords in SEO.
Yes.
Like we're bringing it back. It's all related. So how is AI, like we talked about how it's now summarizing information. We've got citations, we've got mentions. How is it changing? Like, are we seeing drastic number changes when it comes to traffic to websites, like fully going to the website? Like, are there a lot of changes in that space?
Yes. Yes and no, actually. So in some industries and some content types, they're seeing a lot more of a decrease already in traffic from organic search. But this has been a trend that's ongoing. So when we think about, when we go back to AEO, the answer engine optimization, that's really where this zero-click search came into play. So this was a user experience push from Google specifically being like, we just want to provide you with the answer, but also we don't want you to leave our site.
Yeah, we want you to stay here. We can serve more ads if you stay here.
And so that was an answer for getting people to stay on that site, aka once they've searched, no clicks.
Yeah.
And so that has even increased. That number has increased with the implementation of the AI overviews. So we're up to 60% of searches on Google ending with 0 clicks. And on Mooble.
This is a new one. This is a new search engine. Mooble.
And on mobile, that number is even higher, up to 77% of searches where someone never clicks a link after they do that initial search.
The part to keep in mind, there is traffic decreasing to websites, but that traffic is, what are your hours? Things that Google can already handle, or asking baseline questions. Like, this is not potential, they might be potential customers, but they are not looking to make a purchase with these questions. So I think it's a little bit, if we're thinking about the marketing funnel, which now we're a flywheel, but if we're talking like top of the funnel, like these questions are table stakes, right? So it's not like a dire, oh no, our traffic is down on our websites.
One thing I think GEO is interesting for is getting an idea of what your brand looks like online. And I had put a question into AI about agencies in this area and how you would define each one and what the the traits or characteristics of each were. And it's just interesting, like the results it gave me back were maybe not exactly how I would characterize de Novo. And I thought, well, there's something out there that is giving this impression. It wasn't bad or anything. It's just maybe not the way I wanted it to. So in a way, it was almost like this, just that taking the temperature of your brand. And I think there's some value to brands understanding how they are, how they return a GEO answer. However, like you said, it can be different every time. So now I'm going to go back and do it again and see if it gives me some other result.
And it would be interesting to see across platform, right?
Yeah.
If you ask Gemini,
are you asking me to get out of Gemini? Because that's really where I'm comfortable. So
Try it all out. But you're right. Like, people might not necessarily realize how LLMs get their information or how they craft their information, and you don't realize what goes into the soup, if you will. Why do I keep talking about soup?
I don't know, but it is also, it's kind of funny, like somebody can Google their own website and it returns a competitor's, ad, and they might freak out about things like that. It's the same thing. Like, don't freak out just because you didn't get served that ad doesn't mean that they're not running, kind of thing.
I think in your predictions for 2026, it was mentioned that ChatGPT would have ads. Like, ads are a major revenue source for Google, right? So they're going to have to figure something out. They're going to, I don't know if they'll ever say, hey, if you want to be a mention or if you want to be a citation, maybe we'll upgrade your citation to a mention if you pay us X amount. Like, it's going to evolve to be at that level.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, if their goal is 0-click searches, how are you going to, and generally Google ads are pay per click.
Yeah.
So if you're getting people to not click, where are you getting your money?
Yeah.
So I think that'll be interesting to see.
There's a lot of talk about agentic. That's actually what I thought AEO stood for. But, is that sort of the same thing where you're asking it to make a decision for you? And that's 0-click in a way. Do you think that's an evolution? And is there a paid strategy potentially behind that coming?
I don't know.
All right, we're gonna study that one.
Yes,
we're gonna.
Yeah,
and I think
we're gonna wait, and we'll report back later on when it happens. So,
well, with the whole agent side of things, like there's one form of agents that's using APIs and never actually going to these websites. But if a site doesn't have an API or a way to connect to it, these agents are physically going to a website, and then all of a sudden, if they are clicking a link from Google, who's being charged for that, right? Is my company getting charged when a bot clicks my ad? Like, that's something that we've always been talking about, and I think that just continues the conversation and continues that.
Yeah,
like,
that's also something we're going to keep our eye on. I mean, we've seen what happens when bots are visiting websites and suddenly website traffic spikes, but it's not real traffic. That potentially has the same thing that could happen, that could cost advertisers, and I think will quickly correct itself when it happens, because it will have to.
Yeah.
But you're right, Ryan. I would bet that does enter the ecosystem here at some point in time.
Yeah, and we already, over the course of a month, from Google, when we're running Google ads, they're constantly crediting refunding for
bot traffic. Like, it's bot traffic or illegitimate traffic.
Yeah. And so they know.
Yeah.
They do know when that is happening. And so, it might be a $4 refund here and $5 there, but it is something that is already on their radar.
What'll be interesting as ChatGPT rolls out ads, what that looks like too.
So it kind of all comes back to users finding their information. Yes. It's just an evolution. And from what you were saying, those are pretty different, right? Like, are there similarities? Are there similarities in this space? Or is it like, no, you have to have an SEO and a GEO strategy? Or is there some overlap between them?
There's a lot of overlap.
Good.
There is a lot of overlap, especially on the technical side. So for both AEO and GEO, you have to have that strong technical base. You have to be crawlable or indexable, whichever term you want to use. You have to allow these agents and these crawlers to come to your site or invite them.
Because you can block them, right? Or
ish.
Why did we say kind of?
So robots.txt is a really important file that you add to your site that essentially is a guide map for robots.
Yeah, crawlers, index, spiders, all of those.
To know where to go on your site and where not to go. And you can disallow certain traffic, certain bots from going to your site, but they don't have to listen.
It's just like a guide of like, you are not welcome.
Correct.
And they're like, okay. Yeah. Right. We won't go. We won't come check it out.
To this day, when somebody talks about robots, and I'm going to date myself here, it just makes me think of the Jetsons all the time. All the time. So now I'm picturing.
Who was that? Susie, Sally?
Rosie.
Rosie.
Aww. Susie, Sally, Rosie.
So they don't have to follow the rules.
Right.
But generally they do.
They do. And so that's one of the key things to make sure you have set up. And like I said, you can actually encourage specific traffic to come to your site through that. So there are ways that you can set it up for each. It gets a little excessive, to be honest, but each of these platforms to say, hey, you're allowed. Yep. And then that just gives them a little bit greener of a light to come and check out what's on your site. Structured data is still very important for both things. So not to get too technical, but that's setting things up with schema, which is a markup that essentially just tells those crawlers, this is exactly what this content is about. And it's formatted in this way.
That's how like your events get pulled into Google, right? Yeah.
Right. There's FAQ schema, there's like location schema. So there's a lot of different things. And these are already well established markups that are generally put in automatically through a lot of builders. So security is still very important, mobile first, and just in general, your technical performance. So site speed, things like that are still really important for all of these tactics, AEO, GEO, SEO. EEAT, which I know we've talked about in the past. The experience, expertise, authoritativeness, not authoritarian.
We don't condone that.
Trustworthiness is very important, even more so when it comes to GEO, because they are looking for the authority on a specific topic. They have so many things that they can choose from to pull information. So they are really looking for the highest authority so that they can present the best answer.
Well, because those platforms, those engines, they present the information as an authority figure. So they're just looking to steal borrow.
But they have to, there has to be backup to it, right? Yes. It can't just be like your dad just stating it very authoritatively and with great confidence of a white male, right?
Yes. Like, of course he's right.
This is actual authority.
Yes, authority as in we can prove through bios, through statistics that, we are experts on this, that we have the data and we're not just saying things and sounding confident about it. Another way that SEO and GEO are similar is just making sure that you're creating original content that serves a need, generally longer form, but making it really easily digestible. So you want to completely cover a topic, but break it down in a way that someone can skim and scan, that it's not just a block of text that someone's going to look at and go, nope.
Like, no, thank you.
And back right out of there. So that includes, I think I mentioned this earlier with SEO, bullet points. Tables can be really important if you have that kind of data. GEO loves to pull in tables. So that can be really helpful on the GEO side as well.
And especially like you said, when you see a wall of text, you're like, no, thank you. No, thank you. And you might be thinking like, oh, well, these bots, like they don't think that way, but they want to recreate the experience of a search. So they're looking for sites that are optimizing for skimmability, even though they don't need things skimmable.
And I think you can use the way that these engines present the answers as a hint to how they would want your site to be set up. They almost always include bullets, include also tables, like synthesize things really well. I think that can be a good guide if you're unsure of how to present your data on your website.
That's a really, like, not easy, but like that's a very practical like tip. Like the same way that you said, like check out how your brand comes up on these engines, but just like check out how your competition is also coming up and like seeing how it's presenting the information.
So going back, we just want to touch back on like how do these differ? How do these acronyms differ in the world of marketing? Because there's a ton of them, and it's hard for the average marketer to keep up. So my favorite acronym is WTF. So could you please explain these in a WTF format for me?
Yeah. So there are some ways that the tactics we use for these do vary. So when we're thinking about what we're optimizing for SEO versus GEO, a lot of it is coming down to citability over clickability. So for GEO, we want to be citable. We want to have the hard statistics, the unique information that only we can provide that they then want to include in their answer. For SEO, we want to essentially be clickable, right? Like we want to show up and get someone to click on.
We want to rank.
We want to rank.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the key differences in the way we would come at this technically.
If you were, it is your job to do this stuff. So how do you break down from a resource perspective how you're spending time and prioritizing SEO versus GEO? Because a lot of the tactics are similar and there's overlap that affect both. But are there tactics that really, are very specific to SEO or very specific to GEO that you have to balance out because there's not, unlimited time in the world and unlimited budget for clients? How do you break that out and prioritize that?
That's a really good question. I would, if you're starting completely new, you have nothing already created, SEO would come first. If you have a solid SEO foundation, established, this is where I would switch my focus to more of the GEO tactics, trying to optimize specifically for that. You will not hurt your SEO by doing this. As long as you continue to incorporate everything you've already done for SEO, it'll actually probably only help. You can still create these answers to these questions while including the keywords that you're trying to rank for. And so that would be my priority, and that's what we're doing with our clients, right? We have the SEO foundation, both technical and not.
Yeah.
And so now what we're really doing is trying to build upon that to capture that GEO.
Do things like the top of the pyramid that you referred to, the backlinks, the social media, things that drive people back to your website, do those affect GEO a lot?
They can. It really depends on what kind of link back it is.
Like Reddit, for instance, seems to show up quite a bit in generative answers.
Reddit is huge in general. I mean, we know that Google has been prioritizing Reddit.
Since that changed, it has changed search a lot.
There's scouring multiple sites for the answer to their question or the answer to your question. And so if it's seeing your name popping up over and over again, that just builds on your authority. And so even if it's someone mentioning you on Reddit, or if you're in a list of best ofs, right? Yeah. That's just going to build that authoritativeness and let them know that you do know what you're talking about and like you can be trusted as a source.
So that top level, that's where that's pulling in, like your backlinks.
Right. And to be honest, the backlinks themselves are less important because it's not just looking at links. They're still important,
you're right.
But for GEO, they're reading the content and they're understanding this person is this. And so they're still able to build it upon even just mentions.
You mentioned like the optimization for citability over clickability, right? Like, are there other tactics, if you will, that fall into this GEO space that we can cover in a top line sense, top level sense?
Yeah. So one of the things that we've really focused on is building out more question related content. So whether that is using question style headings, or incorporating more FAQs actually onto our website, and not just kind of a jumble of FAQs on its own separate page, right?
Yeah.
Like, we think more of FAQs as summarizing what's already on the site in a way that is easily regurgitated.
Yeah, digestible.
Digestible. Yeah.
That's a better word.
Yeah.
Just by giving a really straightforward answer to a question in the way that people are generally speaking to these engines can help build that GEO experience. So that's one of the things that we're focusing on. Adding a summary or a TLDR at either the top or the end, the top or the bottom of content can be really helpful. It just gives it a summary essentially that it's like, if you just want to pull this, like here it is.
Yeah, this is why you're here.
Yeah. And that also helps with AEO. If we're still, we still want to not forget about AEO, right. Even though really it eventually will probably be
consumed by GEO.
Sorry,
yes.
And then one of the other really not easy, but high-level tactics is giving the answers to your questions right away. We do not want to bury the lead, right? So question-style headings answer right underneath.
And true headings is in like H1, right. H2, H3.
Yeah.
Sorry, well, you wouldn't want it to be an
Maybe
H1,
not.
H2 and H3.
Yeah.
But like truly using the headings,
Yes.
because that's SEO, right? But that's the foundation. That's that foundation.
Yep.
We've got the SEO base, and now the next step is GEO. Have we been doing that? How have we been doing that for our clients, and how are we rolling out GEO, the next level of services?
Yeah, so generally we're starting with an audit, looking at what that AI visibility is for that site, getting some more data from some of those tools that I was mentioning that you can get, but also doing our own searches and seeing, are we showing up for any of these? And then implementing a lot of the things I was just mentioning, looking at ways that we can improve the question answer format, or how we can really optimize FAQs, build on that authority, provide that kind of information that it's looking for. So that's something that we are actively doing with our clients right now. And so I'm excited to see how that turns out.
We covered a lot of acronyms. We covered a lot of information. If you had to boil this all down into one key takeaway, almost your AEO summary of everything that happened, how would you do that?
When it comes down to it, the short answer is SEO is about visibility. AEO is about brevity, about providing, here is a one sentence answer to this question. And GEO is about authority. So if you want to think of it more in a metaphorical sense, SEO is like a library catalog. You want to be listed as one of the sources or one of the options in that catalog. AEO is like a fact sheet. It just provides you with the information, you take it, and you do what you will with it. And GEO is more like an expert witness. They're going to come in and they're going to tell you everything they know because they're the authority on it, and you have to believe them.
Expert witness who is occasionally on mushrooms.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Just
Start to
some,
hallucinate.
just
Get
some
that out there.
hallucinations.
Just mild hallucinations.
And that's why we check our sources.
Right.
And is one more important than the other?
They all play a role, and obviously it's going to change. It's changed since we last spoke on this.
Right. Yeah.
And so right now, we don't want to give up on any of them. SEO is not dead, unfortunately. Right. I'm sorry, everyone.
I know, but don't people just love to predict
They
it?
do.
Like, especially marketers love to predict the death of something.
They do.
Oh, yeah. Marketers love to just be able to be like, and today we're going to talk about the death of SEO, how GEO and AEO are taking over SEO.
I have predicted the death of email over and over again, and I have been consistently wrong in that. So I'm going to stop making death predictions at this point in time.
The only thing those statements are good for is social media clips and fake headlines. So you know what? Clip that and use that as our social clip.
SEO is dead, said no one.
There you go.
Said
There you go.
everyone.
Said everyone, but they're wrong.
But they're wrong.
So yeah, none more important than the other, but all things that need to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, I think you have to design the strategy, like in our case for the client, right? Like there might be a client, like you said, that's coming in new with no authority established, no basis of SEO. Like you're going to spend more time on the SEO side of the things. We have clients who are, very established and have had a solid web presence and SEO for years. We're going to focus a little bit more on the GEO. So it really it comes down to goals and stage of life in the business.
And we don't work with a lot of like publishing companies or anything like that, but it also depends on what type of website you have, right? Just understanding your audience and knowing how they're using the internet to find you is always going to be the
basics
number one.
of marketing never change.
Never.
I mean, it's about human behavior and how you deliver according to what human behavior can expect, predict, be comfortable with.
I love it. Thank you, Allie. But before we let you go, will you join us for Creative Briefs?
Sure.
I love it.
What if
I
she
love
said
it.
no?
Exactly.
What if I
then
said
we'll be
no?
like,
Just walk off.
Yeah. And we'll say cut. Okay, so now it's time for our segment called Creative Briefs. This is where we dig into a marketing campaign, a concept idea, and we talk about the insights that we can glean from their marketing moves. And before we even start on this month's Creative Brief, I want to talk about last month.
All right.
Do you remember what last month was?
Not really.
It was Burger King.
Oh, God.
The
that's
Burger
right.
King campaign.
Oh, my God. I forgot.
And this just proves marketing works. Obviously, we know that, but marketing works. That was the campaign where they were like, we were wrong. We're sorry. Like, we've done better. We promise. I went to Burger King that next weekend. It was great. It was great. It was fast. It was very clean. The burger and all of the food that we got looked pristine. It literally looked like a commercial.
And you made a video that you shared with all of us, and I will say the burger looked good. You looked ridiculous with your crown.
They gave me a crown, too.
You asked for it.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, we have another food-based creative brief.
We are very food-focused people.
Yes. Spoiler, behind the scenes, we had to briefly pause to get a Jimmy John's order in because we've got some meetings. But Jen, break down our next food-based creative brief.
Okay, so I heard this on NPR, and it is the snack tax that as parents we often impose on our children. So for us, it was the French fry tax. If I was getting French fries through the drive-through window before it got passed to the back, which I was totally giving them to shut them up, I would open it and I would take out a couple fries and say French fry tax, and I would pass it to the girls in the back. And they are just accustomed to paying their French fry tax. Doug likes a pie tax, whatever it is. Parents, it's a thing.
Common around Easter as well as Halloween. Easter tax.
I accidentally ate the ears off that bunny. That was a tax. Absolutely. So I'm a big tax and spend kind of person then when it comes to food. So this was definitely clever the way they're doing this. So the idea is Goldfish, which are those I think they're delicious.
cheesy little crackers. They don't taste like real cheese, but
Nope.
They're not supposed to.
I don't think they're supposed
They're
to.
a different thing. The snack that smiles back.
Yeah. Kind of like, I mean, you were like, they kind of are like a Cheez-It in a fish form. Also delicious, right? Yeah. So basically they're saying you can file a tax return for the snack tax on April 15th. It doesn't go live until April 15th. And you can apply, I think, for 2 bags of Goldfish, which I think are for your children, but I think I would tax the tax before giving that to anybody else. So, and also my children are grown. So, if I apply.
You have a lot of back taxes to.
I have a lot of back taxes. So I pay a lot in taxes. Like, I think I'm owed this. I just thought that was a really clever campaign. But then when I went to search for it, the search results did not give me Goldfish's actual site. It gave me a lot of the PR around it. Like, they did a great job with the PR side of it. And it was sending me to some outlets that I probably would not normally get my news from, like People and Parade.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Did not want to click on those and get subjected to that. But it was interesting that just didn't come up in the search results. Even in the, the Gemini overview at the top, it did not give me that. It did also offer me several videos, but again, they were not from, the Goldfish company or whatever their parent company is. So, but they do have the site live. And so today is, this is being recorded on April 14th, day before tax day. So I think it rolls out tomorrow, and I'll be really curious to see if there's buzz about it. Are people talking about it? How many people participate if they share that information? But I just thought, from a creative standpoint, I really liked that.
Yeah, people it's tax season. We know about that. And through the powers of technology, can we see the current site as it stands? Like you said,
Look at that. It's magic.
The parent tax return.
Yeah.
But if you read the fine print, come back on April 15th at 4:15 to file your taxes.
Eastern time.
Yes. So I think that this is a great opportunity for them to stay relevant in tax season. Like, they had the Super Bowl, or they had the Rose Bowl parade. They had a little tiny RC car, world's smallest parade float, and they're doing this as well.
I wonder why 4:15 p.m. Is that when taxes are due?
It might be
4:15, because
That
it
feels
also
right.
would have been clever to go 4:20. But 4:15 on 4:15.
Oh. See, when we talk it through, there's layers of meaning.
But I
built
don't know.
into
That
all
could
of
be
this.
the actual tax deadline too, which would be a good way to remember 4:15 on 4:15. But
you are in one time zone.
in one
True.
time zone.
True.
Correct. So, but it says it's almost time to file your parent tax return. So, I don't know if this is a one-day thing either.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't run this if they're really giving you even one bag of Goldfish, much less. I think I heard 2.
I saw that too.
They can't give away that many. So I imagine it is maybe product limited and probably a one-day thing. So, and I will not remember to go do it.
Yeah.
It's a fun promotion, and I think that the other piece of this is it's reminding people that Goldfish exist, right? Like, if this is not a common snack that you give to your kids, like, you don't even have to have children to get Goldfish. Like, they are not an expensive treat, snack, etc. Like, they're cheaper than Cheez-Its.
I always gave them to my kids when they broke up with a boy in high school, because there's other fish in the sea. So
Okay.
that was my little tradition.
I have
Okay.
a cat that loves them.
Oh,
Cats also love Goldfish. Oh, and that because they like fish.
I don't think that's why they like
No,
Goldfish.
because Bella likes cheese.
Wow.
Yeah, because they like the salty.
They like the fake
yeah.
cheese.
My cats
She'll
would-
also steal a Cheeto.
My
so
cats would just lick that until it was disgusting.
generally.
Yeah.
Jen, what do you think? Was this a successful promotion at the end of the day?
I don't know. I'm going to have to come back and give my answer on next month's podcast. If you'll remind me, I will check. I think it really depends. Like I said, I thought it was really weird that it seemed to roll out in more of a PR fashion and didn't drive people back really to the site, at least not from the search results I saw. And it seemed like odd media outlets.
Yeah.
So, it was a lot of like smaller, like NPR affiliates too.
Well, I think this is perfect because you mentioned search, right? And what we kind of talked about today, it's not immediate. Allie, why wasn't this pulling up in search results?
Well, I was going to say it did show up in an AI overview for me.
Oh.
I thought
at
you
the
said
top.
it didn't.
No, it did, but it didn't. It still didn't take. It didn't offer me.
Oh, the link.
The link to
Right.
that. It just said basically it is happening.
It
Gotcha.
exists.
It
Gotcha.
exists. You asked and we answered, but it just didn't, like, maybe for something like this where they're spinning up a site, maybe that's a little harder.
I mean, it could be that there's not a lot of content right there, and SEO needs content,
Right.
and GEO, AEO needs it. So if they're not going to link to this, they're probably getting that information from those other sources that you are also talking about. Where did we get this link?
This link came from inside the People article. So like
Okay.
they're basically using.
So it's possible this isn't even listed as indexable.
Yeah, might not be indexable, or this is a backlinking strategy somehow as well. They're getting a little bit of juice from People, from all of these other places.
I think we might be giving them a little too much credit there.
And admittedly, this was a fast campaign. Right?
Yeah.
This is a pretty fast campaign. You don't
But
have
how
time
fast
to
was
rank.
it? Like, how fast was it?
That's true.
We don't
But
know.
they couldn't plan for all these things.
We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know what it's going to be. This website might be completely different. It might be more than just a form. It might have celebrity endorsements. Who knows? Tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow. Exciting. So tune in next month, because we will then cover the Goldfish snack tax. That was Creative Briefs. But before we go, Allie, thank you for, again, being a recurring guest on Think Fresh. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for talking Goldfish. And thank you for explaining all things SEO, AEO, GEO, PPC, all of it. We didn't cover all of it, but thank you.
TY.
I love it. I love it. Bye, everybody. And remember, you can now watch Think Fresh. So if you are just subscribed on your podcast app, you can go to YouTube and the other platforms where you watch Think Fresh and check us all out. You can see us in person. You can see us cover the creative briefs, and make sure you subscribe.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Are we swearing on this or no?